Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. We're still keeping our focus on avoiding electoral violence, and joining us from our Abuja studios is Mr. Ogunsakin. He's the Professor of Police Studies. He joins us from Abuja, as well as Mike Ejiofor. He's the former Director of the SSS. He also joins us from our studios in Abuja. Let me begin with you, Mr. Ejiofor. You have been very rich in your continents. You've been very rich in understanding how violence, how politics and violence plays out in our country. You've also even had some taste of how the herdsmen perpetrate their own violence. As a matter of fact, you were once in their den, but thankfully you got out. Talk to us. This violence that we hear of, 20 states in the country may likely be involved in violence leading up to the 2019 general elections, before, during, and after. What comes to your mind immediately?
Well, it's quite unfortunate, and I watched the last discussion, and it was apt in describing the situation in our country. But talking of violence, we're not just talking of electoral violence. A lot of violence going on in the country, like you rightly pointed out, kidnapping, robbery. In fact, you can name them, and it's quite disturbing. But we should concern ourselves now with electoral violence. How are we getting ready for the 2019 elections? The greatest problem, the greatest challenge we're having in terms of generation of violence are the activities of politicians. And it is quite unfortunate that people who want to die. I believe that politics is about service. But when you kill people, you want to come to power, it becomes worrisome. I want to talk about, the generation of electoral violence. How prepared are we as Nigerians, security agencies, to tackle this violence when they do occur? You've seen a lot of issues arising from the handling of cases. I think that's very paramount too, the handling of cases by our security agencies. I want to talk about the police in particular. You look at the speed at which police commissioners are changed. And this generates, you saw what happened in Akwa Ibom, for instance. The tension created in the assembly, and all this intent to bring out violence. Again, the government, I think, unfortunately, is not taking security very seriously. Our security agencies are not being properly funded. I was shocked. I came in yesterday from London. I was shocked when I was reading about the army raising an alarm that they are yet to get the $1 billion approved for arms. And you expect these people to... So, violence is not only to the citizens, but to our security forces. Attacks are being made on this area. And it's worrisome. I am short of words to describe the situation in which we are going to find ourselves shortly. It's very, very disturbing.
Even though the special advisor to the president has come out to tell us that here on the program that we have paid for the Tucano fighter jets, and we're expecting them sometimes maybe within the span of 3 years. So that will, of course, translate to some of those monies, that $1 billion already being spent. But let me get your thoughts, Mr. Ogunsakin, Professor Ogunsakin, my apologies. You have also been looking at these scenarios and how they are playing out. Would you say that the government, in this case, has not really tackled to a level that gives Nigerians that comfort, that security will not be a thing to disrupt the 2019 elections?
Thank you for inviting me. One of the issues we face in Nigeria is the fact that we fail to prepare, and when we get to the real deal, which is the election, we seem to be saying to ourselves that this ought not to have happened. Our failure to prepare has been the biggest challenge we have. And I think when you look at this upcoming election, one of the biggest change is the fact that for the first time, the police seems to be making the necessary moves. We've spoken about the challenges of violence, and then you need to understand that there are several forms of violence. When you look at the violence, you look at the ones that happen before the election, during the primaries. Then you look at the ones that will happen on the election day, and then you look at the post-election violence. And I think for us, what the police have been able to do in recent months is to start preparing ahead. We set up interagency consultative election security panels. And I think this one is assisting the public to focus more on the coming election. How this works is this: the command, every command, the commissioner in every command co-shares this consultative committee on security elections, and then co-share it with the INEC chairperson. And within that group, you have the military, you have the fire service, you have civil defense, you have immigration, you have the prisons, you have the customs, and then you have the other agencies as well, including road safety. But the challenge that we seem to have is lack of coordination. In the past, we've not brought all these people together. But as it is, they are together. This has taken place in all the states, and we are going through consultative committee again on the stakeholders. And the stakeholders, again, they are bringing them together. We are having a lot of discussion about how to make this election free, fair, and safe. But I think what we failed to do in the past, we are correcting it, and hopefully this election will go smoothly than before. But I think when we talk about these 20 states, we shouldn't just limit it to 20 states. We need to be able to expect that something is going to happen. And so I will say that we need to look at the umbrella. You know, you have a blanket approach where you're looking at the 36 states plus FCT. So all preparation are being made. And I think in conjunction with what the police and the other securities agencies are doing, they have to listen to INEC. INEC is the one that is in charge of the election. They dictate the tone, and the police and the other security agencies support them.
You talked about coordination at this point. Do you feel that coordination, we could have ways to improve it, because it has come up repeatedly in at different forums, at different interviews that we've had, that that same element of lack of coordination seems to be the major problem. What must they do at this point to try to see that that level of coordination we gain it, if you will? But I guess we're going to have to ask you that question again when we return after this break in just a moment. Join us again.